Boom.
Okay, so everybody, thanks for joining. More people will come. There's more people coming in here. Just do a quick introduction about Jordi. As some of you know, Jordi was at our Bitcoin Ireland conference. He came over from Spain, I think Barcelona, and he came over and talked to us about Nostr and Satlantis. So Jordi is currently the head of growth at Satlantis, a social network built on Nostr that empowers sovereign individuals through censorship-resistant communications and meaningful communications. With a professional journey that began as a commercial airline pilot, he transitioned more than a decade ago into the world of entrepreneurship, innovation, and digital freedom. Over the past 10 years, Jordi has founded and scaled different tech startups, including Sharing Academy, Europe's first higher education peer tutoring marketplace, which is awarded Best App of the World at the Mobile World Congress. He's also worked as an innovation consultant, helping organizations from early stage startups to large corporates design user centered products, rethinking business models, and embrace emerging technologies. So, Jordi, welcome to What is Money and the Retire Early Club, and take it away.
Thank you, Lawrence. Yeah, it was a pleasure being in BTC in Bitcoin Ireland. And if any of the people that is here today in this call already attended there, don't worry. I'm gonna give you a different talk. All right. So as Lawrence very well eloquently put, I am working in the digital sovereignty realm. And today's class is more from the angle, from the perspective of social networks. And so I'm going to skip this slide because Lorenz, I think, explained it better than I
No,
can.
no, go through it, go through it, go do it.
I used to live in the fiat world in the 9 to 5 rat race, or maybe it was not rat 9 to 5 because airlines schedules, are a little bit different. But yeah, it was a fiat job. I traveled a lot. I learned a lot about different cultures, and I started a couple of startups, and now I'm helping grow Satlantis, which is, as Lawrence very well put it, it's a social network on top of Nostr. So today's call is a little bit more to talk about the problems with social media. And the problem with social media, and we're going to get there, like why Nostr and social media? Why is this related? Well, you'll see. Uh, Problem with social media today. Social media, okay, not social network, social media. Well, we do not own anything. Instagram owns our accounts. TikTok bans our content. Twitter, X, they limit our reach. Have you ever experienced shadow banning? Yesterday, I was reading through my Twitter feed, and I have this friend who posts a YouTuber. He posted a video about he living during for 3 days on Bitcoin on the Bitcoin standard in Costa Rica, and he had like this tweet. Yeah, guys, look at my video, blah blah blah, and I answered him. What are you talking about? It's just where is the video? He was shadow banned, so he had to post it again. He posted it. I just couldn't see it, because it's it's the way Twitter works. It's their house, their rules. And then yeah, I wrote, YouTube demonetizes your videos. We don't know anything. What the word that I'm starting to use to talk about social media is that we are renting some digital space on these platforms. We're renting it. In most of them, it's free. Free as in we don't have to pay with money directly from our pocket, but it's not really free because we're sharing everything. And then the other problem with the social networks is that social media is that they are siloed. So if you have an Instagram account and you have a follower list in Instagram, this follower list is not shared with YouTube. So then you have to have multiple accounts. Okay, so yesterday I was posting on my social media accounts that today I would be here with you guys. So I had to create a post for Instagram, a post for LinkedIn, a post for Twitter. Come on, why do I have to work 3 times? And then why do I have to work for 3 times? Because I have some followers that are not in the same social media platform than me. So I have multiple audiences. But some of you follow me into social network. So now if I say something on Twitter and the same thing on LinkedIn, you start getting bored about what am I saying because you're seeing it many times. Maybe you can also ignore me or mark me as this is not interesting. So, and the problem is that if I do a lot of work in Instagram, then I cannot bring that work to Twitter. No portability. And no interoperability at all. A message from LinkedIn cannot be read by Twitter. And you might be telling me, but well, this is how the internet works. Yeah, but those are problems on the internet that we have built. So there is a solution. The way that we should interact and connect with each other online, it's broken. And that's why Nostr was built. Let me tell you what Nostr is. And I'm going to tell you with this example. Here on the right, I have created like this diagram. Imagine email, okay? So now forget for a second everything I talk about social media and all that, and think about email. Email was there before social media, right? So I think my first email was in Hotmail. And I had this Hotmail email, but some friends, they had Gmail. Well, I could send emails from Hotmail to Gmail. And now there is Proton here, as you can see here in this diagram. It doesn't matter. All of us, we don't have to be on the same app. We can send emails through different apps. That's the beauty of the protocol of the email. It doesn't matter on top of it what app you're using, but they all communicate to each other using the same set of rules. And gentlemen, this is what a protocol is. A set of rules that all of us, for example, in this call, agree. Nostr is a protocol. Nostr gives you the power of email, as I was saying, because you can build as many apps on top of Nostr as you want, but it has the advantages of the social media. Which advantage? The distribution power. When I send you an email, it's just me sending it to you. And it depends on how long my list of email contacts is. That's why people create newsletters, and that's why people promote their newsletters on social media, because the email is limited. I can only send you an email to the list of emails I have. But if I post something on Twitter and it goes viral, even if I only have 5 followers, if I'm capable of creating a content that is engaging enough to go viral, even with just 5 followers, I can reach maybe 1,000 people. With email, no. With email, if I have 5 emails, I can send 5 emails, right? 5 email addresses. So Nostr is trying to bridge those two gaps, which the power of email is that it doesn't matter which app you use. You can own your contacts, like email. Oh no, with email, you have your list of email addresses. On Nostr, you can do the same, and it's interoperable, as I was saying with this diagram. And then the beauty of the distribution of social media is that people can see it even if they're not following you. So, going back to the beginning, when I gave you like all these issues with social media, the problem with social media is that they are closed ecosystems. On Nostr, everything you do, let's imagine in Nostr there are clones of all your favorite apps. There is a clone of Twitter, a clone of Facebook, a clone of Instagram, a clone of Spotify, a clone of YouTube. Imagine if you could bring your likes, your followers, your comments through all of them. So that's the beauty of Nostr. Now, we're gonna get a little bit technical, okay? So I need you to pay a little bit of attention, a little bit. We're not gonna, this is not a technical talk, but I want to tell you what are the differences between using Nostr compared to traditional social media platforms. And again, this is all based on the use case of social media. So how does Nostr work? There are 3 steps, okay? Let me try and follow me with these simple 3 steps. When you post something, like this user, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I'm just pointing on the image here. There is like this red guy. Okay, thank you, Lawrence. So when this guy posts something on Instagram, he downloads this app, posts something on Instagram, upload a picture, send. On Nostr, it's very similar. The difference is that when you post something on Nostr, it's not called posting, it's called signing, whatever. It's a verbiage thing. But what matters to you, what should matter, is this key that he has. On Instagram, when you post something, to be able to post, you have to have an account. This account is normally an email and a password. What is this? This is like 2 credentials that when they are put together, they generate like a string that Instagram says, okay, this account exists. and we can allow this account to upload something from my side. But if any employee on Instagram wants to post something on my behalf, they can. Or if they want to delete something on my behalf, they can. Even if I post something and I want to edit it, I can edit. I can add like collaborators afterwards, and they could do the same. On Nostr, we need the key. And for you that you already know about Bitcoin, this has the same logic as a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet. You have your private key and you have your public key. With your private key, you sign every single thing that you post on Nostr. On Nostr, you can post text, video, pictures, carousels of pictures, songs, events, anything that you can imagine that you can post on the internet, you can post it on Nostr. And now it's the time to tell you what Nostr is. Nostr means notes. A note is like something I wrote, and other stuff. Other stuff is what I said: pictures, videos, images, songs, whatever. Transmitted by relays. We're gonna get to the relays part later. But now at least you know the first three letters. Nostr and other stuff. So let's go back to this example, right? How does Nostr work? Imagine you downloaded a clone of Instagram and you wanted to post a beautiful sunset picture that you took today. All right, so you open your app, whichever Nostr app you want to have, like this clone of Instagram, for example, and you post it. And at the moment when you hit post or send or whatever the app copy has used on this button, on the background, what you're doing is you are signing this message with this private key. This private key, only you have it. So everything you post on Nostr, you can verify that you posted. And me, as your follower, I can verify that you posted it. Why? Because I'm following you using your public key. And everything you post, it's related to your public key. So I can see exactly that, I can verify exactly that you are the person who posted something. On Instagram, if Instagram wants to change your picture, there's no way to verify the verifiability, the authority. Who is the owner? Who is the first person who posted this? Nobody knows. Okay, so that's the most radical difference from that you will see from other social media apps. So, all right, the user signed this note and posted it. Next step, what happens now? When you post something on the internet, posting means sending it to some cloud, some computer that is hosted somewhere. So then when your followers want to see what you're posting, they can access to this cloud and see it. So on Nostr, these cloud computers, they are called relays, and that's the R from Nostr. Notes and other stuff transmitted by relays. So you post it here, and the relays are like these. You see, like when you post something, like these little vans here, they capture all the things that you're posting it, and they post it into a relay. What is a relay? It's a server. It's a dumb computer that has access to the electricity, to the internet, and to a big hard drive. That's it. That's all that it needs to have. And a small space for the operating system that includes the Nostr protocol that allows people to upload pictures, videos, whatever they want to post. And on the last end, other users, as you can see here, with their clients, they can access to these relays, to these servers, and access and see and download these videos, pictures, images. So as you can see, it's like three simple steps. Everything that you post will be signed with your private key. This is the beauty. So from now on, if you are interested in freedom of speech, now you know that there is an app that can be, it's like it stamps, it sets in stone that you were the person that said something in a specific time of in time, right? So this is how it works. Now let's go a little bit more philosophical. The Nostr core principles. So one of the core principles is security. Everything that you do on Nostr is not owned by anyone. It's an open source protocol. So it's the best way to know that you're secure on a network is if you could inspect the code. So far, Nobody has. Nostr is a 4-year old, 4.5 year old protocol, so it's very new, and nobody has found any backdoors. Can you say the same about um, YouTube? What is it? It's in the UK, right? Like this week, who is it? I think it's YouTube. No, YouTube, no, WhatsApp. I don't know, one of those platforms. They will start asking for identity verification. So
Yeah, yeah, they're starting it. Yeah, they're
they're
going to be
starting it,
starting
right?
it soon. Yeah, they will be
Right.
starting it. Yeah,
So
they announced that they will be.
excuse me, like 10 years ago, what they were saying is never give your name, your ID, anything on the internet because there are hackers, there is people compromising these databases. So on Nostr, you don't have to give your picture or your ID or scan your face or your digital fingerprint. No, you can create as many accounts as you want. This is how the internet was created. If you want to be a public person on the internet, you can do. I have my uh, public account on Nostr, on Twitter, on LinkedIn. You can follow in under my name. But what if I want to have like more of a lurker profile just to browse and shit post? I can do that today on Nostr. Will I be able to do that on Twitter, on YouTube in the future? Well, it seems not. Seems that they need to know my name, my surname. So then one day when some criminals uh, the criminal is like a big word, but when whichever person has access to this database, look, I'm Spanish. We're like 47 million inhabitants in Spain. Our social security database has been breached. I think you can buy it for 10,000 euros in the black market, in the dark web. Only for 10,000 euros you can get all my details on all my orders. No, you don't want to give like all your private information on the internet because you know that someday, for some reason, this data is gonna breach. So this is one of the core principles of Nostr. Interoperability, as I was saying, everything. Look, I run events. I was at Lawrence event. I was last week. I was in Mallorca in another Bitcoiner event. I'm planning now to be. I'm speaking in Bitcoin BTC Hell in Helsinki. So and every event has its own event platform. Some use Meetup, some use Eventbrite, some use Luma, some use their own apps that they created for this. So you're telling me that now I have to have like 4, 5, 6 identities when I have to go to an event? No, it's too much work. If I have an identity for events, I would like to build it. I was in BTC Prague. What happens in BTC Prague? They build their own BTC Prague event app. Really? For 3 days? And they spent a lot of money with this app for a 3-day event. So I had to upload my picture, my profile, my bio. A lot of people send me messages. The conference is gone. I deleted this app. Me and everybody else. So what's the point of having multiple identities for the same topic? If I would like to have my same identity for joining events, I like a free market. It's good to have many different apps to run events. I'm using the events use case. Imagine this because we're talking about social media apps. Imagine this with video platforms, or when you go to mm, when you book an Uber, or maybe it's not an Uber, maybe it's a Bolt, maybe it's a Cabify, maybe it's a taxi, but they have an app. Why do I have to have like different profiles? And what if I don't even want to have one app, one profile per each service? What if I just want to have one identity online? Let me give me this choice. Nostr gives you this choice because the identity is not inside of the app, but it's outside. It's like the protocol. More things, censorship resistance. Because everyone can run his own server. Remember, the servers are called relays. That's what the R is for. If I want to have my own private server where I can talk about stupid things with a group chat with my friends, so I can do it. And nobody, no WhatsApp, no Telegram can spy on me and then delete the content because, okay, hear this. Last year, there is this father. He has his son that is ill. He like a little baby, okay, like I don't know, like less than 1 year. So he takes some pictures. It was in the middle of COVID. Okay, that was not last year, like a couple of years ago. He takes some pictures of his baby and he sends it to his doctor because it's online and they cannot go in person. All right, he took the pictures with a phone. The phone was connected to Google Photos. The photos were automatically uploaded to the OneDrive, Google One Drive,
Yeah,
and
Google
because
Drive.
Google Drive, and because Google runs all the time algorithms to learn from us, they flagged their account as child pornography. He lost his account. Impossible to get it back. Why? Because he was nobody. Okay, maybe if you are friends with Google or whatever, you might have this. But this is the problem of using servers that are not yours. So this is one of the benefits of Nostr. Open source, this is very related to the security that I was telling before. So if you don't like Facebook, what are you gonna do? Uh, it works or it doesn't work, but you don't know what's going on under the hood. No, and on Nostr, if you don't like something, well, run your own instance and change the code for you, and then that's it. Decentralization, because all the nodes are so this is a little bit different to the Bitcoin blockchain. In Bitcoin, you have the nodes, and the nodes have an exact copy of all the transactions. But on Nostr, there is no blockchain. There is the decentralization. There are thousands of servers that are called the relays over there, but all of them do not host a copy of everything because it's impossible, because the main use case for that is social media. So imagine how many terabytes or petabytes of information would be just to host this video that we're having today. So the good thing is that the market speaks itself. So if there is a video that is very popular on the social network, then the other relays will find it and they will create a copy. So then other people will access to it. But it's decentralized. You can run your own server if you want. Verifiability, this is what I said before. Everything you post, if you have to listen just to or remember only one thing of all the topics that I'm discussing, all the core principles, everything that you're listening about Nostr, remember about this one, verifiability. Everything that you post there can be verified. It's like, imagine like a digital notary, right? But the problem with the notary is that you can always bribe a notary. But this is like a notary that is unbribable because it's set in code. It's using the private and public key encryption. So everything you post will be there to verify that it will be there forever. Downside of that, be careful what you post online. Okay, don't start posting you with guns doing crazy things. Or maybe you can, but just so you know, this will be verifiable. This has more verifiability that when you take a picture that like there is like this metadata, where the picture was taken, the GPS coordinates. Well, this, if you know a little bit about computers, you can you can fake it. And if you're a good digital artist, maybe you can fake a little bit the picture. Uh, there are forensic doctors that they're studying if a picture has been edited or not. Well, with this, their job is obsolete. You can say if a picture was just not even one pixel, it's just one bit of information changed, you can verify that. Then the flexibility, it allows you to build as many tools as you want. I'm using the use case of the uh, social media, but you can build anything. You can build productivity apps. I'll tell you a little bit of an example of apps later on. Confidentiality. Okay, there is one thing that is 100% confidential. Nostr allows you to also run private chats between two people or between groups. And to set up this group, probably all of you use WhatsApp. And when you open a WhatsApp channel with a first person for the first time, you see this chat is encrypted, blah, blah, blah. Is it? It says so, but can you verify that? You'll never be able to verify it. Even if you're one developer of WhatsApp, there will always be the possibility of having a backdoor that you cannot see because another developer with higher rank of you has set up there. And of course, all the governments have access to these apps. And I don't have proof of that, so we'll see if it's true or if not. In Spain, there is like this new legislation that the government is pushing to be able to read through all messages from everyone. So except no, not everyone, except if you're a politician. How convenient. So the thing is that in Nostr, it's because it's open source and because of the cryptography, the asymmetric cryptography, you can verify that a channel between you and I, it's impossible to be spied on by a third party or a bad actor, or bad or good actor, whichever actor. And so all those things together help you to gather or to get closer to gain or regain your sovereignty, meaning my house, my rules. If I want to say something, let me own what I said. I don't want if I'm posting on Reddit and learning from, I don't know, what's my next laptop I should buy. I'm asking people question, upvotes, downvotes, and then Reddit asks me to do the facial identification. And if I say no, I lose all the information. And we're in Europe, and in Europe you have like these rules, these GDPR rules that we can access or we can ask for all this information. Yes, but the companies in the end, if they are not operating here, they can decide. Or even if there are rules, if there are laws, they can choose to give you the information or not. So on Nostr, you don't have to ask for permission because everything you do since the get-go, since the beginning, you know that you own it. You own your post, you own your likes, you own your comments, you own the pictures that you. When I say own, is that you have access to it. Okay, because owning in the digital world, and especially when we're talking about Bitcoiners, that would be like a longer debate that I don't want to get into that. So now I have some Nostr apps for you to play around. So the main use case, social networks. Primal, Amethyst, Iris, Snort, Damos, Nostrudel. Those are just a couple of them. So if you're looking for a social media experience, so I recommend you these apps. I know that I said the word social media, but here it says social networks because there's a big difference. Social media, what they are is like advertisement companies competing against each other to get your audience, your attention. But on Nostr, there is no algorithm, or the algorithm is not designed in a way to get you hooked, but it's more to get you connected with other people. And that's why I use the word social networks. It is a place to meet, mingle, follow people, and see what other people is posting. Then more things. I said that there are like Spotify clones. Okay, there you go. Fountain. So if you have some podcaster, your favorite podcaster, instead of listening to him on Spotify or YouTube, I would recommend you to listen to him on Fountain. Why? Why, if it's the same podcast? Because Nostr has one thing that is called the zaps. And the zaps are just fancy keyword that means tips. So if you like one podcast from your favorite podcaster, Nostr is connected to Bitcoin, to your Lightning wallet. So you can send your favorite podcaster just a couple of sats just to give value for value. I know that when you're listening to a podcast on YouTube or on Spotify, there are ads, and then based on the ad revenue, the podcast, the artist gets some money back. But there are so many intermediaries. This is not a talk about debating if they are well paid, bad paid. What I'm saying is that there are intermediaries, and every intermediary needs to get his cut. And sometimes what you want to do is, like in the old days, you walk on the street, you hear someone singing a song, and there is like this bucket, and you just tip him with a couple of coins. So it's like a direct value. It's like for content creators, it's the best way to engage. And maybe some of you can think about only sats or whatever. So this is the idea, but for all type of creators. All right, marketplaces, eBay, right? So it's the same thing here. You have Shopster or Plebeian, and you can log in using your identity. And look, I gave you like a couple of examples in each category, meaning that my recommendation for you, you could create your own, the same as I was saying a couple of minutes ago. You could create your own identity for eBay. But if you have to have eBay, me in Spain, I use Wallapop. Then I lived in Korea for a while, and they were using Coupang. So, and I had to create accounts. Wouldn't it be awesome if I could bring all my eBay reputation to Coupang when I change country? I'm not saying bringing my LinkedIn reputation. No, bringing my seller reputation in a second-hand marketplace. That would be awesome. Now it's possible. Today, you guys can do it. Productivity, Formster, Zapstore to download other apps, Lister. There are many productivity apps. Here I just put a couple of them like Linktree, Clones, like a lot of productivity apps. Messaging. I told you about the, the privacy and the security of private messaging. If you don't want to use a social network, so some social networks, they have messaging services, but if you only want to use it to have like a private conversation between you and your friend, right? You can use 0x chat or video. So all of you, like Lawrence, this might be for you as well. If you are streaming this video, this is a private group, I know, but maybe you want to stream one of your next events online. Well, instead of using YouTube, you can use Hive Talk or um, or Streamio, and everything you post there, it's exactly like imagine like a real-time YouTube live streaming connected with those tips that I was saying before. So if I like what you say right now, I can tip you. That's amazing. I liked watching some of my favorite uh, meetups that I cannot attend through through Nostr. And of course, why am I here? Because why am I talking about that? I know a little bit about that because I work for a Nostr company. And this Nostr company is connected to my past. That's why what does it bother that I was an airline pilot, I traveled a lot, and now I am building startups with Nostr? Well, I work for a social network called Atlantis that connects people with places and with events. So this app, I didn't created it. I joined the team. I'm one of the first early employees. It was created by Alexander Svetsky. And when I saw it, I was like, okay, this is for me. And it turns out that there is like a big group of people that are like, depending who you ask, can like 30, 40, 50 million digital nomads out there and 600 remote workers out there. But we don't have to look like at these big numbers. We can look at ourselves and our friends. We're all Bitcoiners. We go from conference to conference, even if we cannot travel far away, from meetup to meetup. So we are people that like to travel. We like to meet like-minded people, like this kind of self-sovereignty mindset, being out of the matrix. So we are people that go to places and connect through events. And this is what Atlantis is. So it's a whole tool that includes Google Maps, Facebook, and meetup.com, all in one single app using Nostr, meaning I can bring um, all my identity, all my reviews. If I see a place that I like, I can review it. And Nostr uses one thing called the social graph. This is the second thing that I would like you guys to remember. The first was the being able to verify everything, and the second one is the social graph. If we start interacting in all this ecosystem of apps and we like the same things, Nostr is creating a profile of us. So when I join, for example, Atlantis, and there is a map, and it's my first time in Ireland, in Dublin, the app will recommend me my favorite restaurants. Why? Because I am connected through Nostr with Lawrence, with Dini, and with other people. And because we share the same interests, there will be like a profiling. So this is one of the features. And the one that I like the most, for now I'm talking about Atlantis, it's the events. So I like going to events. And as I said before, I went to BTC Prague and I had to download this app with 10,000 users. And most of them didn't even have a picture, a profile, a bio. Why? Because they knew that after a couple of days, everybody would delete this app. So what we did in Atlantis, in BTC Prague, is we partnered with them for the side events. So before you go to an event, you can see the list of all the people that is attending. And these people will have their profiles there because this profile will not last 3 days of the conference. This is a Nostr profile that you can use in different apps. So if you are a person that goes from event to event, you will like to have your events profile. And maybe if, I don't know, if you like cats, you like to have another account with pictures of cats, and you don't want to connect them both because they have, or maybe yes, you can choose, but I wouldn't do it. So when you go to a place, you can start seeing if you are connected uh, with these attendees beforehand, or if you're not, you can see who they are connected to. You can start seeing if they posted things, and from there it creates like this social graph. And before going to an event, you already know who might be the right person to talk to. And even after the event, if you left, and you said, "Oh fuck, I forgot to ask this person's WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever." Who cares? It's there. Nobody will delete it because it's Nostr. It's not owned by anyone. It's, everything you said, it's owned by you because it's signed by your signature. You signed that you attended that event, or you signed that you had interest in attending into that event. So then everybody else, even if Atlantis doesn't work, even if we shut down the company, everything will be there forever. So then, and that's what I said about the interoperability. And because this is those are standards, anybody will be able to discover or to download the list of or click on each account's user. Those are just some of the things that you can build using Nostr. You see, we started with the social media problem, then we went to the reality of social network, and I ended up showing you a list here with a bunch of apps, and we dive deep into the one that I'm working at the moment. So how to get started? If you are as excited in owning your digital identity, making sure that what you say on the internet is never changed by nobody, only you can change it, download Atlantis. Atlantis is one app on Nostr. Play with it. And yeah, welcome to Nostr. And now you can follow me here. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Nostr. Just search me, Jordi Llonch Esteve, or on Twitter, Jordi_Llonch. And I'm here now. We have some time to answer questions and whatever you want to do with me. I'm available for you guys.
Okay, thanks a lot there, Jordi. Can you just bring that back a little bit? Because I want to take a screenshot of all those apps. I'm going to drop it in
This
the
one,
groups.
right? Yes. Feel
Yeah.
free to
Because
take.
okay, hang
Yeah.
on. I think that'll be useful. Yeah, maybe we can drop it
Mhm.
in later on and make a nice image out of it and whatever. Yeah. Okay, I have that there now. Okay, so we can just go in and have if there's a few questions in there. Ask people if they want to drop any questions. Yeah, well, what I just noticed there when you were doing this talk, you know what I mean? There's a lot of this in the very near future. There's a lot of this digital ID is going to be launched in the EU and the UK probably next year. They're going to push it really, really fast for the digital IDs.
Yeah.
So like Nostr is going to be perfect for this. Yeah.
I had
Um.
this conversation at the Free Cities conference. So if any of you guys are interested in what Lauren just said about this identity topic, I I talked about digital IDs last summer, and I'm gonna speak about this as well, the pros and cons, in at the end of October. So if anybody of you is interested, it will be in Prague, the last days of October, the first days of November. I think I have discount codes. I can send it later to you, Lawrence, and then you can share it with
Yeah.
your team.
Lovely. 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 Yeah. There was more questions there as well. There's a question there from Kieran. Kieran, do you want to jump on and just answer for yourself? Is
Yeah.
Kieran there?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. Hi there, Jordi. Yeah. So I'm just wondering how Nostr will pair with Bitcoin payments in the future. Like, for example, the Lightning Network or even the base layer, if it was, larger sums that somebody wanted to pass through that system.
Right. So it's not in the future, it's in the present. It already works. This morning I received a couple of sats, and Nostr connects with Bitcoin through the Lightning Network only. Why? Because because of the micro payments, because of this value for value that I was referring to before. On traditional social media platforms, when you like something, what can you do? A like,
Yeah.
a comment, a
Yeah.
repost, right? So, and because those things are free, they are, from my point of view, they're the value tends to zero. But when I can send you money from my pocket, in this case from my Lightning wallet, it's like I'm starting to value you. So, for example, sometimes I run contests or I just send money to random people because they posted a picture, or if it's a friend, my friend, they maybe I just send money, and this is connected to your Lightning wallet. Most of these apps, they have either their own wallet inside, or you can connect it to your, I don't know, wallet of Satoshi, or you don't even have to be very technical with this. You can connect them to your own node. If you have a Lightning node, you can connect it to your Albi hub. You can do many things, but it's already working. So then on Nostr, on most of the apps, Fountain, on Primal, you can see the typical like, the typical repost, the typical comment, and then one more button, which is the Lightning. And this is send zaps. It's
Yeah.
all using the Lightning Network, not the base layer, because it takes forever. So
Yeah.
if I like something now, if I like your, I don't know, imagine you posted a song. I want to send you money now, and I'm not going to send you uh, enough money that needs to be sent over the base layer. Maybe I'm sending. How much can I send you for a song? When
Yeah,
you're
people send like 10 sats, 20 sats, 21 sats. You know what I mean? All them 21 sats add up. You know what I mean? We see it on the like Orange Pill app. You know what I mean? People sending like that. Is Orange Pill app built on Nostr, is it?
they they are they are adding Nostr features. So step by
Okay.
step, as you can see, some companies are starting to get rid of the legacy login and traditional
Yeah.
features and bringing up like these more open protocols.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Very
I,
good.
I hope that answers the question, Kiran.
Thank you. It does. Thank you very much.
And Terence was asking there as well, does it take Bitcoin Lightning node payments? Well, there we go. We just answered that as well. Um, I mentioned there earlier on, you were talking about privacy and all that. We heard a few months ago that the CEO of Telegram was arrested in France because they wanted to get a backdoor into Telegram. The French wanted to get a backdoor into Telegram. So Macron or the president invited him up for dinner and bang, they grabbed him. And he was in for a few weeks, wasn't he, Jordi?
And I read, and I don't have direct connection with Telegram. I'm just telling saying out loud what I read on the internet and I watched on some media outlets. It was because of her girlfriend, because her girlfriend,
His girlfriend.
she's an influencer, and she was posting a lot of pictures like, oh, look, I'm in this boat in this lake or whatever, and they pinpointed that he was in France, and that's how they got him, and then yeah, he was like trapped into this political dinner to say yeah, and what happened there, we'll never know because Telegram is not open source, so somebody's going to be reading your messages, right? Either if it's Putin, the EU, or Zuckerberg. If you're using closed source apps, this is what's going to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen, right? But because we don't know what we don't know. So we have to be cautious. It's my privacy. You see, it's what I said, Lawrence, when I was there in Ireland for the conference. I wear clothes because I have something to hide. I'm not naked in this call. It's good to have privacy. I have curtains. I don't want my neighbors to see me, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to have the choice of deciding when to open or when to close your curtains. On private apps, private messaging apps, the curtains are always closed, and maybe there is a hole that somebody's looking at. You don't know.
Yeah, there is. There's backdoors into everything, man. You know what I mean? Of course there is. I mean, you're going to be crazy not to think that they're not in everything, you
Yeah.
know? There's a question there. Is the Nostr a new way of communication between sovereign people? What would be the cost to running that platform?
Right.
That's from somebody on iPhone. And there's some sovereign people on this as well that have done a lot of work on sovereignty. Others not so. Yeah.
So one of the main promoters of this open protocol is Jack Dorsey. the founder and creator of Twitter. When Twitter was released at the beginning, it was very open. I'm not sure if I can use the word open source, but it was very open. They had a lot of open APIs, and everything you would do there would connect with Instagram at the same time. They were friends at the beginning, then they became rivals, but everything was interoperable. And this is how VC-backed startups work. You build something big, and when it's big enough, you close the doors. So then you have created like this moat, and you can keep the network effect. Why am I telling this story? Because Jack, he's like this millionaire or billionaire hippie. He's learning from his mistakes. There are things that he had to do, but now he thinks that there are other ways to maintain the open internet. And that's why he put a lot of money. I think it was like one, two, three, $4 million just as a donation to the developers of Nostr. And now, recently, 1 or 2 weeks ago, he also released
Oh, yeah.
another app, BitChat, that uses Bluetooth to communicate. Why Bluetooth? Because now Nostr runs on top of the internet. So if one government wants to shut down the internet, doesn't matter that we're using a super encrypted technology. If the internet doesn't work, we cannot communicate with each other. So now he's launching like this Bluetooth, this app using the Bluetooth protocol that doesn't need a network because the phone, it's like, if any of you is using AirTags from Apple, they don't, those things are, they don't have a battery, or they don't have they don't connect to the internet or anything. They connect to each phone, each iPhone in the world. So the same thing goes from BitChat. It doesn't connect to a cell network. It connects directly from phone to phone. So yeah, it's a new way of communication between sovereign people. It's not the only one. It's good that there is not only one. And if anybody wants to talk to me and follows me on Nostr, talk to me on Nostr, because then I know for sure that it is an encrypted channel between you and I.
Okay, very good. Yeah, there's a lot of sovereign people out there that are trying to build things themselves from bottom up, and they're saying it's going to be this. But from a lot of people that I've talked to in the sovereignty, they're not too up on the technology, and they're afraid of the technology, Jordi. You know what I mean? That's what's happening with a lot of sovereign people, from what I can see anyway. Yeah, they think
That's
that
true.
technology is going to trap them, but they don't know about all this stuff, you know? They're
Yeah,
going in the wrong direction, I think.
because we live in a world that everything is so mainstream that if you build something that it's not, if we don't have a marketing team promoting this, how are we gonna get past all these ads that these companies are putting on traditional social media to promote their next? You know, 1 year ago, Blue Sky. Everybody was pissed of Twitter. No, now we have built Blue Sky. It's more anonymous and more free. There is freedom of speech. It was another company. It was another company.
Hmm.
So when you use a company, you are following the rules where this company is incorporated, which is a country. So there are backdoors anyway. So what I'm trying to say here is that the smaller tools that we're building are not easily discovered as these other big tech companies. So yeah, how are you, if you are sovereign and you want to keep the pace of the world, which is being connected, join in more communities like this one, and learn from unofficial channels, because this is the only way that I think that we're gonna start. There is no marketing team for Nostr. It's run on donations. So we need to talk about it. That's that's the issue, right? So yeah, if you're sovereign citizen, don't feel sad for trying to avoid all the technology. No, there are technology tools that will let you stay sovereign. You just need to put more effort into finding them and learning how to use them, because there is not that much
Yeah,
money behind them. So maybe the user interfaces aren't as simple as your next, what, TikTok?
yeah, yeah.
Jordi,
True,
there's a
true.
question there. How do people get started on Nostr?
Right. So here, I prepared this slide for you guys. Scan this QR code, download Atlantis. This is your entry to Nostr. Download it.
So,
It's on Google Play, on App Store. Play with it, and you'll discover, because inside of Atlantis there is a section that say, copy my private key. And with this private key that you will have, you can enter to all these other apps that I show you here. And this is just a couple of apps. There are like hundreds of apps. But start from some place. So for me, this is my recommendation.
Okay, so the same private key connects into all other apps, basically.
Yeah, that's the beauty.
Cool.
So could I just ask a quick question there, Jordi?
Yeah,
It's
go
David
ahead.
here. Yeah, because it was me that actually posted that question initially. I just trying to understand. So because Satlantis is your app that you've built on Nostr, and you're saying that's a good starting place for us to access and get access to those other apps. But is there another way that you can set up from Nostr, from the very base level of Nostr,
So
that will give you access to apps? Or
so imagine Nostr as Bitcoin. So the first time that you accessed Bitcoin, you accessed using probably a wallet. Maybe it was a hot wallet, maybe
Or an exchange, maybe something like that, is it? You came in through an exchange, or you came in through Wallet of Satoshi, you came in through crypto.com or Coin
Right.
Corner or whatever. Yeah.
The problem with that was not Bitcoin. That was paper Bitcoin. So the real connection that all of you had, the first real connection, the first real touch between you and Bitcoin was in a wallet. What you had before, that was called an IOU, that was called exchange account. But on Nostr, like on Bitcoin, if you want to access Nostr, you need your wallet. In Nostr, it's not called wallet, it's called client. And those are just terminology keywords that represent the word app. You need an app. On Bitcoin, if you need to interact, you need a Bitcoin app, a Bitcoin wallet. In Nostr, you need a client, a Nostr client. So the only way for you to start on Nostr is to sign up, because it's your first time. Sign up using one of the apps. I recommend you this one, but look here on the screenshot, on the screen, I have a lot of them. So think about, I think it was David, right? So Daniel?
David.
David.
Oh, sorry, David. Yeah.
David, think about what use case are you looking for? Do you want to play with social networks? Do you want to play with messaging? Or do you want to sell secondhand goods? Think about what is your use case, and then download an app that serves that purpose and create that Nostr secret key, the private key. Right. This is the only way for you. It's like, imagine when you join Bitcoin, you probably didn't calculate your by hand, or maybe you throw the dice. You know, you can throw the dice to create your private key, right? But once you have it, if you want to participate in the Bitcoin network, you need to input it into a wallet. Here it's the same. You can download the code, the source code of Nostr, and you could create your private key. But the purpose, it's using it into one app.
Right. Yeah. If you did it yourself, you're kind of basically creating your own app, and there's more of a overhead or headache with that, obviously. Well, you're creating your own key. Is that
the key? Exactly.
It's more complicated though, really. You know, I mean, the best thing to do is go.
Yeah,
of course. You know, keep it simple. Keep it stupid simple. That's
no, just trying to understand it, just making sure that don't need it's a different way, you know. Yeah.
It's difficult
because I was confused about it before. I thought Nostr was an app myself before. I thought that's what it was when I was hearing about it. But that's why.
That's why it's very important to talk about this. It's not an app, it's a protocol.
It's a protocol.
It's a
protocol. That's what it is. The base layer. It's the base layer.
Yeah, it's one of the layers. You don't go to your app store and download email. You download Gmail, or you download Outlook, but you do not download email. You cannot download email. So you cannot download Nostr. And this is the most complicated part to understand. because nobody knows what a protocol is. And that's why I normally like to use the email, because then it's more clear. Are you guys understanding it? Am I making sense here when I use the email protocol? Does somebody have
Yeah.
questions about that?
Yeah. Is there any questions about that? We've got 5 minutes, people.
The only other question I'd have is with the apps that we've seen, obviously they're ones that you know about and they're vetted. Well, I mean, they're vetted as much as we know and they're recommended. Is there anything that we would need to be aware of when deciding an app if new apps come along? Is there any kind of things you would need to check to ensure that the
Right.
apps
So
are
we're
okay
Bitcoiners.
or recommended?
We're Bitcoiners. We don't trust. We verify. Well, or so should we? Because
Yeah.
sometimes you cannot verify everything. If I go to a doctor because I have some pain, I'm not going to study the medicine degree. I'm just going to trust him, right? So there is always a level of trust. If we are moving Bitcoin, if we are moving our life savings, maybe we're going to put a lot of effort into verifying that that app that wallet that we downloaded comes from the official source and it's not hacked. Okay. On Nostr, you're putting something less valuable at risk. We're not putting our life savings at risk. We're putting our identity at risk. So when you participate in the Nostr ecosystem, you have to think, this identity that I'm creating now, how dangerous it would be for me if it would be stolen. Why am I telling you this? Because every time you download one of those apps, you have to, like in any app, you have to write your email and password, right? So here you have to paste your private key. And I'm certain that at least one person in this call has a backdoor in his phone, for sure. Like a virus or a backdoor from Apple or from wherever. I'm certain. So you have to think about that. Like the same way that when you move Bitcoin using your hardware wallet that is maybe an air gap device that is not connected to the internet or doesn't have Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, whatever, you have to think about the implications on what are you going to use this identity online that you're creating now, and what would happen if somebody would have gained access. This is my recommendation. Just think, what am I using this for? And look, even if you make a mistake, okay, you create a new account, and with the new account, you say, my old account has been compromised. There is no ID here, check. So anything that we write here, we can go to court, it's not valid. It's like we could debate it. But you can always create a new account, and if you are friends with me, you can send me a message. We are in person, and I can say, okay, this is your real new account. I can follow you, and I can say, and you can follow me, and we can start building a new identity, a new social graph for you. It's easier to get your Instagram account compromised because how easy, every employee in Instagram can have access to your account right now without having your password, because your passwords are encrypted. But the way that you access to a website, it's not with the password. It's with the connection between a username and a password. And those things together, they run through a mathematic operation, and this creates a unique hash, a unique a string of characters. And this is what gives you access to the account. And that's what the apps, and that's the only way that an app has to validate that you have these credentials. So they have to have a database with what this number is. So they have this number, so they can access with this number. On Nostr, it's impossible. So it's way, 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 way less secure to use any other social networking app than using Nostr.
Okay,
I'm going to
perfect.
technical, okay, here. So just think about
Okay.
what you're doing.
So somebody said in the chat there, Fiona, does Nostra have AI functionality within the various apps or tools?
For example, we use it in Atlantis because Atlantis is a database of maps. So we have restaurants, we have co-working spaces, attractions. And what we did is we downloaded, we connected to Google Maps, TripAdvisor, Michelin Guide, and we downloaded all the reviews. Sometimes there are places that have 10,000 reviews. You never have time to read all these reviews. So we run all the 10,000 reviews through an AI algorithm, and then we tell you, based on 10,000 reviews, this is what people say about the food, the venue, the atmosphere, the vibe. But like we built an app that uses AI for something, and to log in into this app, you're using Nostr, but it doesn't correlate. You can build anything with Nostr. Think of Nostr as your key to enter your house. You could set up an electronic lock to enter your house, and to access you have to use your Nostr key. It can be a physical house, it can be a digital platform, it can be a YouTube clone.
Okay, okay. And then there was a Sinead there asked about payment processes available. Well, Bitcoin, Lightning, that's the
Yes.
payment on Nostr. Yeah, it's a Lightning network. Yeah, not fiat currency.
Yeah, it's embedded in Nostr. And if I want, look, in Atlantis, we're building events like ticketing for events. We will allow you to pay with Bitcoin, but like our friends here from Ireland, like Zagrite, they have a payment processor system that you can use to pay with Bitcoin, with Lightning, with fiat, with whatever you want. So you can always, when you're building an app, you can connect with payment processors like Zagrite. It doesn't matter if it has Nostr or if it doesn't have it. When you're building an app, you can choose what services. Do you want to have a right-click button that says download the event details? You can connect to another app that does this. So it's just more a Nostr is not the app itself. It's a way that we developers use to interact with each other. So you can build anything, AI, anything that comes to your mind.
Amazing, amazing. Kieran had another question there. So how do you start Nostr setup? Okay, David got that. Kieran, can you host your own relay for your own content to share with others? Kieran?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
I was just curious about that, Jordi. Whether how that works, like at a top level now. I know we're nearly out of time.
So you can, the same way that you can run your own Bitcoin node, you can do the same. You can buy like a mini PC or a Raspberry Pi and download the software that it's called the Nostr Relay and connect it to the electricity, connect it to the internet, and attach a hard drive. That's it. It's plug and play. There are some apps, there are some distributions that give you the tools, or maybe there are others that if you're more tech savvy, you want to download the code and program it yourself. But it's the same. It's the same as a Bitcoin node.
Thanks.
Okay, okay. Fiona was there saying as well, in terms of authentication protocol, what does Nostr use?
Nostr is the authentication protocol. So it uses the combination between this public and private key. So it's not connected to Google ID or to Apple single sign-on or to your digital. I'm Spaniard, and here in Spain we have like the digital ID. So every time I have to do like uh, every time I have to do like a bureaucracy task with the government, I have to use its own system of identification. In Nostr, we don't use any of this. It's the Nostr itself. It's the identification protocol.
Okay, okay.
I don't know. That was maybe a difficult question. I don't know if I answered exactly what you wanted, Fiona.
Okay. Considering all from Gary Graham, considering all the privacy features and all the demands governments are making now and into the future regarding our identity, that they won't be simply ban you or they won't ban Nostr.
Yeah. So the way it's like Bitcoin, right? Can you ban Bitcoin? Can you ban Nostr?
Can you ban the internet? Can you stop the internet? It's a
Exactly. You
protocol.
can. You can shut down the electricity. It was in April. I think it was this April. I was in Spain.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? There was like this.
Yeah, Spain, France, and Belgium got hit at the same time. Interesting, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So Nostr stopped working, but everything else stopped as well. So it's like, yeah, it's a technology. It's like when the people say, "What about quantum computers? Will they break Bitcoin?" Yes, Bitcoin and everything else. All the banking system will be set on fire. Like all the uh, generators from hospitals will go crazy. So yes, there are ways of shutting this down, but you see it like we
Everything
developers.
else gets shut down before it, though. That's the thing.
Sorry?
Nostr, everything else will get shut down before
Yeah,
Nostr. Like Bitcoin, everything goes first before
exactly.
Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the last thing to go down.
And there are projects that are creating networks outside of the official network, like internets. Here in Spain, in my hometown, there is this guy that connects antennas on your rooftops and like parabolic antennas. But instead of pointing to the sky for to get like your cable TV or whatever, it points to other houses. So then he's creating like a private internet. So as long as you have like this internet, fine. But then you need electricity, okay? So then you need to have maybe like a generator at home. So this is the when you ask these type of questions, you have to consider if this future is feasible or not. It is. There's people like the preppers, they're building bunkers and and getting food and tuna cans and all this. So yes, the answer to all of this is yes. And now you have to think about the probability. It's a probability game. Will this happen in my town? Will this happen in my country? And if not, there is people that is changing countries. This is the flag theory. If in this country there is more freedom, like the guys from Prospera in Honduras, they're building a whole city with their own rules and
Yeah.
based with Bitcoin. I'm just saying one, Honduras. There are many. If anybody's interested, go to this free cities conference in at the end of October to discover more about that. So yeah, it's possible, but it's a probability game.
All right. Okay. So that's great. Any more questions from anybody? Maybe you want to jump in there or anything like that? Just share the last screen there so people with phones they can just scan the code for Satlantis, Jordi,
Yes, guys,
and
and
it's
follow
a
me.
way for
Remember
them.
to follow me. If you follow me, I'll send you some free sats. And follow me and follow Lawrence. Follow the Lawrence is Larpar at Larpar and follow the Bitcoin Ireland conference as well. So then we can and follow each other. If you are in the same chat, try to build the community and try to start creating your building your social graph.
Yeah. Perfect.
Jo-
Okay.
Jordi, I just have a question for you there. I've been using it about a year and a half. I'm just changing phones, but it's asking me to put my private key into the new phone all the time.
Yeah,
Even when I
yeah.
switch the app off, put it back in again. Is that normal? Is it?
It asks you every time.
Yeah.
What app are
It's
you
ask,
using?
I'm using the Amethyst.
Amethyst.
Yeah, Amethyst. Yeah.
Mm, I use Amethyst every day and I
Yeah.
saved it. So it only asked me once.
All
Um,
right.
there are some apps that, because of the privacy settings that you have in this exact app, and this happened to me on some web clients as well, because of the
Yeah.
privacy, he asks you for every action that you take on the app, because he
Yeah.
wants to make sure that it's still you. So maybe the app thinks that somebody took your phone and he wants to make sure that you still have access. So find it somewhere in the settings menu to not ask me every time. Say,
Okay.
trust this app forever or trust this app. Normally they say like for 6 months, for 1 year, for 5 days. Try to
Yeah.
see if you find this. And if not, Reddit is your friend or Google is your friend.
Yeah. Okay. Grant. Thanks.
Okay. Amazing. 10 past 8, 12 minutes past 8. Thanks for your time, Jordi. We had over 50 people on the call there, and it was
My
amazing.
pleasure.
So thanks a lot. And we might see you next year in Ireland again for the Bitcoin Ireland conference. Same
Yes,
dates.
and
We're going to announce it. It's
more.
a three-day event
3
next
days.
year.
Let's
Three
go. Let's go.
days. Okay? We're doing it. Okay? Same weekend. You're the first to hear about it. Everybody here on the call. Yeah, tickets are coming out
See you
tomorrow.
guys there in Ireland.
Okay?
I'll see you in another conference. If you find me on the internet, follow me, message me, and if you see me in person, also reach out to me. Happy to talk about Nostr. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Lawrence.
Thanks,
you.
Thank you,
Jordi.
everyone.
You.
Thanks,
Thanks for your
Jordi.
time. Thanks,
Bye.
thanks, thanks. Bye, 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 bye. Hey there. Bye, bye, bye.